2 days the same. You know, I'm in a fortunate position. I'm doing TV and radio interviews every day of my life. And normally during the course of that, I can get plugs in for any client I want, providing it's live, and I normally do. And that's the accepted part of it. If they want me to do an interview, fine. But don't be too surprised if I slip in a little plug here or a little plug there, live on BBC or whatever. You know, last week when I was doing 50 interviews on Jonathan Ross and all of that, I managed to get dozens of plugs in for clients of mine. BBC World, 130 million people watch it, Asian network, all kinds of vast, and so you adapt accordingly. You know, I hear Jonathan Ross is moving to Brazil. He's buying a new place on this development to get away from everything. Of course he's not, but this development happens to be owned by clients of mine, and they've generated all kinds of business, compliments of the BBC. Who says the BBC don't advertise? So I honestly think and believe in the importance of PR. Yeah, it's provided an incredible living for me and my family, and fortunately lots of other people, because I'm in a wonderful position. You can put a lot back. You know, I can save anonymous people from major scandals and say, okay, fine, but you know, this particular hospice needs a lot of money and you've got a lot of money, so I suggest you send £250,000 to them next week, because I've just saved your reputation and your career, and therefore maybe you should do something like that, and they do. So it's a lovely position, but you know, that's just me, and I'm very fortunate. You can honestly do a lot to help yourselves by using PR. You know, because a good PR person is worth their weight in gold to you. You know, you've got your business, and your time and attention, money, everything goes into that. But what a good PR person can do is to see what you need, to know your market, and get to that media. Get to the local papers, if that's important, the national papers, and it's not difficult, the television. You come up with an angle. You know, be creative. I mean, there's lots of different ways. You know, that Chris Hoy won 3 gold medals in the Olympics recently. I think the first thing he did when he got off his bike was to go and see his mum and his dad. The second thing he did was to phone me and say, will you represent me? And what's happened since then is that I've put in things in place. You might just find that there's a new bike coming out very soon before Christmas with his name all over it. And you might well find it's launched exclusively in Harrods, which happens to be one of my clients. And you might just find that there's all kinds of television coverage there worldwide, because people want to talk to him, and it's just going to be before Sports Personality of the Year, which he's one of the favourites for. He's also a very intelligent, nice guy who's a great image for anything at all. And he knows his subject, so you talk to him about bikes, the construction of this and that, and he knows more than anybody I've ever heard, never alone spoken to. You combine opportunities, you make opportunities. All right, I'm dealing, generally speaking, on possibly a larger scale, but the same rules apply for you. You know, when we got involved with Pimlico Plumbers 2 or 3 years ago, they were a very successful business, a small business in London. They've grown several times in those 2 years. And one of the ways is because one of the old boys that works for them, who cleans their cars, whose name is Buster, and he's 101. And there's been some debate as to his age, but I believe he's 101. Anyway, it's generated a vast amount of coverage. He ran in the marathon. He does all kinds of charity events. He's been featured on television all over the world. And every time he's featured, there's Pimlico Plumbers at the heart of it. They sponsor the charity golf tournament. So I've got TV crews down there filming, Sky, but also BBC and ITV, filming me doing interviews. So when I'm doing interviews in front of a Pimlico Plumbers banner for ITV on Gordon Brown or whatever, they're getting coverage all over Britain, sometimes all over the world. It doesn't cost them a halfpenny, but it works. And it's generated a very small, successful business, it's helped launch into what is now, it's grown out of all proportion. And they're absolutely inundated with work, even now with the recession starting to bite in. Because we found a successful way of getting that message out there. It's ever so interesting. It's very cost effective if you've got someone good. If you get someone, then work closely. And if you've got vast sums of money, come to me. So, would anybody like to ask any questions? Anything at all, about your business or scandal or anything, I don't mind. Yeah.
Can I ask if there's anything too difficult to promote? I'm promoting cycling in the northeast of England. It's not a great image. Does it help to have celebrity cycling, do you think? Do you know anyone who can...
Yeah, what funny you should say that. We represent the Lawn Tennis Association. And what we're doing for them is to get people, all ages, all abilities, trying to play tennis all over the country. Kids that would be stabbing each other are now playing tennis in parks in areas like Haringey and things like that. Message about cycling is it's healthy. You can get out there. You've got some wonderful areas not so far away. And of course, does it help using a star? Well, I mean, I suppose I'm bound to say yes. But if Chris Hoy was here next week, then you would get every paper as well as television and everything else. If he's on one of your cycles, or if you see what I mean. When we launch his bike in Harrods, it will probably be in the window, and he got to just under 50 miles an hour when he won the Olympic gold, which is incredible on a bike. So maybe we'll have a world record attempt or something like that. But I know it's going to generate massive coverage, right? It's Harrods, it's him, but there are plenty of people that did well from the Olympics. There's other cyclists that did well. I don't know all of them. So it will give you an awful lot of coverage. And the other way, you see, is sometimes think about it. Maybe you can get a good cause involved. I mean, Chris has done things. Simon Cowell does things. All of my clients do things because there's a charity that is close to their heart. So you find out that Bradley Wiggins, Chris, or someone supports this charity. So you put on an event which supports them. They come along free of charge. You get the coverage, the charity gets a benefit, you get the goodwill, and normally, because they're making an appearance, you get a huge amount of coverage that you could only have dreamt of. It can work, and it does work. We do it all the time. Next question, isn't it?
I took over a small business called Massive Fat Paintball for my son who moves to south of England. I've just had it since April. I'm trying to coordinate that with other things that we do. We have a Sharky fishing lake, and also we're opening a golf course next year, but I'd like to push it together in a thing called Get Skills for children with learning disabilities to help them. And we do Jack Charlton comes for Disabled Day for children. I'd like to coordinate all these activities. Which is the best way to go about that? I'm very new to this.
This lady has various businesses, I don't know if you heard, but paintballing,
massive attack.
Is that where they go around shooting each other with paint things and fishing lakes and things like that? Okay. Well, I mean, to me, the first thing that would come to mind would be that you would have a paintball competition, isn't it? The winner is... Yes. Okay, but you'll get celebrities involved. Right. So you pick a charity. Yes. Children with Leukemia is a charity I'm involved with, and there's lots of celebrities involved with that. So you get hold of Eddie O'Gorman, who's very approachable, who is the man that owns and runs Children with Leukemia. Yes. And suggest that you have a venue where they could put on an event. Now, because there's probably 20 or 30 stars, celebrities involved with that charity anyway, there's a very good chance that they'll come along with their kids. And you, potentially, if you've got a good PR person that knows what he, she is doing, will get the coverage that goes with that from the papers, local papers, national papers. Because the chance of getting, some major star with paint all over them or something is a kind of opportunity that a lot of freelance photographers would love because they'll make a lot of money from it. Yeah. So you put on one event which doesn't really cost you anything at all. You do it for a charity, so the people taking part are all, and maybe if they do it in teams. And